Hello everyone, I'm Roger Rizwan and I am presenting you another template in Miro, and this template is related to the IT disaster recovery plan, and a very important and very critical template for those who are IT managers, CTOs, IT directors, chief information security officers, so on and so forth. And it has got altogether 7 sections, and I'll be explaining you each section, but let's look at what are these 7 sections are. So the first section is related to the recovery objectives. Then comes the inventory of hardware and software we'll be listing here. Then comes the section number 3, relates to the critical systems and applications. Then section 4 defines the recovery procedures for the systems, network, and infrastructure. And section 5 relates to the backup procedure and storage locations. Section 6 relates to data restoration steps. And last section, section 7, relates to the roles and responsibilities, the people involved in the whole process. So let's go back to the first section and see that what instructions are required to be followed in order to fill each section. So in section number 1, which relates to the recovery objectives, you'll be defining the systems, applications, or the components of the infrastructure for which this disaster recovery plan is being chalked out. So the next column is going to be the RTO, and RTO will stand for the recovery time objective, and it is the maximum acceptable time that a system or application or any component can be down after a failure before it severely impacts the business operations. And it is measured in time. Then the acceptable data loss, which is measured in RPO, or the recovery point objective. And it is again the maximum acceptable amount of data loss. The previous one, RTO, is the acceptable time, and this is the acceptable amount of data loss measured in time. It defines how frequently data must be backed up or replicated. Now, the section 2 is where you'll be listing all the hardware and the software in your organization, or for which this disaster recovery plan is being written down. So in the first column, you will be writing down the name of the hardware and its model. And the second column is going to be the asset type, whether it's a server, software, application, storage, network switch, and this will be, and you can select this from the drop-down pre-filled list. You can add more option here as well. And the third column is going to be where you will be writing down the serial number or the license key. And serial number is going to be in the case of some tangible asset, for example, server, switch, storage, and license key is going to be in the case of some software, database, application, so on and so forth. And then the location. And location is where you'll be taking the backups, whether it's a data center at some other location, whether it's a cloud, or you have installed some backup device in some office. And then the last column relates to the ownership of this asset. Who is the owner of that asset? So you'll be selecting from the drop-down list. Similarly, in the case of this first column, you can write down and you can add more names along with their designations and or the roles in the list, and you can select the multiples from this list as well. Then the third section relates to the critical systems and the applications. And Similarly, as in the section 2, you'll be defining what systems does and so each system does and how downtime impacts the operations. Then the function of that particular system you'll be writing down in this column. Then the business impact if it gets down. Then the RTO and the RPO you'll be defining here. Then the dependencies of this system, this on which components this system depends. So it could be a firewall, it could be some database, it could be some network or storage. And last is again the ownership of this system. You'll be defining here. And it is pre-filled, already pre-filled. You can add more names into it. And the fourth section relates to the recovery procedure for these systems. And it could be network, it could be infrastructure, it could be a storage, it could be a switch, network switch. So in the first column, you'll define the name of the component here. Then the recovery steps, and these steps could be in the bulleted form or in the numbered form. You will see in the example that I'll be showing you later on after this blank template explanation. Then the estimated time to recover, and then prerequisites. And what are the prerequisites to carry out this recovery procedure? These are defined and listed here. Then the validation method, what is going to be and how you are going to figure out that this recovery procedure is successful. So these validation methods are listed here. Then section 5 is going to be the backup procedure and storage locations. So in the first column, you'll define the system or the component. Then what type of a backup you are going to use. For example, in case of a storage, it could be a full incremental, differential, or even a snapshot. So what is the frequency of the backup and how long backups are retained? So this is defined in this third column, and it could be in number of days or weekly. You are taking the backup weekly or monthly or even monthly. So then the retention period. So once the backup is taken, so how long this backup is going to be retained? What is the company policy? Then the storage location, where this backup is being stored. Is it a cloud? It could be a tape drive in the same data center, or it could be a NAS placed at some other location or some other branch or offsite, taken offsite, and then who is responsible for carrying out this activity. Then the second last is the data restoration steps. What steps that you are going to take in order to restore that particular system in case of a disaster happens. So in the first column, you will be listing the system component, then backup source. It could be tape, it could be NAS, it could be cloud. Then restoration tool, you'll be listing here. It could be in case of a database, it could be an RMAN, or in case of a storage, it could be Veeam, or in case of Active Directory, it could be a script that will be running to restore the data. Then the steps to restore, you will be listing the numbered or the bulleted form, the steps that you'll be taking or the actions that you are going to take in order to restore this component or the system. Then the estimated restoration time, and this is a tentative time that you will be writing down here. It could be in hours, it could be in days, and it is basically estimated based on your taking the examples of best practices and the previous experience and validation method. And once this activity is complete, and how you are going to test that this activity is a successful or not. For example, in case of a network restoration, you can use a ping command or a traceroute command to test that the system is now back to the normal state. Then the roles and the responsibilities. And in here, you will be listing all the names of the people who are involved in this complete disaster recovery plan. So these are the 7 sections that you'll be taking care of in order to define the disaster recovery plan. So let's take a look at the example that I have taken for a ransomware attack. In case a ransomware attack happens at a bank. So in the recovery objectives, I have defined uh, the core banking database. These are the applications and the systems that will be taking care of with respect to the recovery and disaster recovery. So the first system is the core banking database, then online banking application, then email system, then the payroll system, and lastly the file system. And these are their RTOs and these are their RPOs. Then the inventory of the hardware and software for this disaster recovery plan. We have listed the server here, the network attached storage, and then the banking application hosted on the cloud. Then the Oracle database is an example. Then our email services hosted on Microsoft, and then the firewall. And then these are their asset types, and you can select from the drop down list, and you can add more in this list as per your operational need or the disaster plan need. Then in the third column, you'll be writing down the serial numbers and the license keys for the systems taken in this disaster recovery plan. And what are the location where these backups are being are taken? These are listed here. Then who are the owner of this asset? They are taken here, and you can select from the drop-down list. You can add more in this list as per your needs. Then the third section relates to the critical systems and applications. And over here, you see that the applications are defined in the first column. Then what are the function of this application or the system? Then what is going to be the business impact if this system goes down? And what are the RTOs and what is going to be the RPO for the system? And then the dependencies. This application, you'll be writing down the components or the infrastructure which are dependent. This application is dependent on. For example, this application core banking database is dependent on the storage and the firewall, and who is the owner of this application. And accordingly, you will be defining all these components for the other applications and the systems involved in this disaster recovery plan. Then the fourth section relates to the procedure that you will be taking care of with respect to the systems, network, and infrastructure. For example, in case of a core banking database application, the recovery steps are going to be that you will be taking care of that the clean database server is available, and then restore from the AWS snapshot, and then apply the logs, and then validate the integrity. And the estimated time to recover is go here. And what are the prerequisites in order to perform these recovery steps? And lastly, the validation method that we'll be using in order to verify that this application or the database has been restored successfully. And accordingly, as you can see here, these recovery steps are defined for the other applications or the systems covered in this disaster recovery plan. Then the fifth section relates to the backup procedure and storage location. And over here, as you can see here, that the first column holds the system and a component, and the Backup type, it could be incremental, full, snapshot. These are defined over here. As you can see that you can select from the drop-down list about these applications. Then the frequency of the backup taken. For example, in case of core banking application, the backup is taken every 15 minutes, and online banking application backup is taken daily, and retention time is 14 days. And in case of a core banking database, the retention time is 30 days, and it is stored in the AWS, and these both are stored in the AWS. And who are the owners of these applications? They are defined in this last column. Then the sixth section defines the data restoration steps that you'll be handling in order to recover the particular application or the component or the system in course it goes down. For example, again, let's see that if the online banking application goes down, so what is a backup source? For example, in this case, the backup source is AWS S3. And the restoration tool that we'll be using is the Terraform and some scripts. And these are the restoration steps that we'll be following. And this is going to be the restoration time. And lastly, the validation method that we'll be using. And the last section is where you'll be defining all the personnel there, which are basically part of this disaster recovery plan. So I hope that this template is going to help you in defining the disaster recovery plan for your organization and company. And you can simply copy this template, the blank template, and use it to map for your own scenario, for your own disaster recovery plan. And do subscribe and like my videos and drop your comments in case this video is helpful for you. And thank you very much for your time.